What's going on, everybody? This is Daxon here with another cool video. So I had another video up about a year ago or so about making one of these double dog crate furniture deals out of wood. It got quite a bit of views and a lot of people asking, more about how I made it and stuff like that. It is my own design that I came up with. I'm getting a little bit better using 3D design software, so I figured I'd kind of go through in a video and show you how I put it together. Now, I'm not going to go over sizes or anything like that. I do have the plans for sale actually through my website or through our Etsy. For $4.99, you can buy it all step by step, as well as the different sizing that you would want to use and things like that. But so far as this video, I'm just showing you how to put it together. I know it is kind of a rather long video. I'm actually doing a voiceover right now. I pre-recorded this and now I'm going to talk over it and kind of explain some of it. So let's go ahead and get into it. So basically this is all made with 2x4s, just non-treated 2x4s that you would get at like your lumber yard that are typically labeled as studs. They work just fine. Now you can make this however long you want. I've done it 6 foot, 7 foot, or 8 foot. Those are your long boards you want on your front and your back, the longest ones. And then typically you want to make this the width about 1 inch or 2 or even 4 inches less than your doorway. By the time we get the top on, the top's a little bit wider than the whole thing. So let's go about 4 inches less than our doorway width, so that way we can get in and out of our house without any problems. So you basically set up your little rectangle like you see there. Now we're going to go through, these are actually our supports that are going to hold the top to the bottom and basically support the whole thing. So these are really important. And by the way, I'm putting all this together, of course in real life. I use torque screws, typically about a 2.5 to 3 inch screw. You can kind of use your own judgment. Make sure to sink them in good. You don't want obviously the screw sticking out through the other side of anything. But there you see we have all the supports that I have put in, and they just screw right in flat to the bottom. And then basically the top part of this is actually an exact duplicate of the bottom. So what I'm going to do here once I get to it is I will take the bottom. I'm just going to merge all those pieces together. This is 3D kind of deal, make it a little bit easier so I can move the whole thing. And then I'm going to slide it up, and you'll see basically in real life you're going to have to actually build another version of the bottom on the top, but to make this more simplistic you'll see what I'm doing here. So basically it turns into like a big box now, a big rectangular box. Pretty simple. I think anyone can do this. Once again, you can do this 6, 7, or 8 foot long, and then on average about 28 inches wide. Now we're going to be putting in and piecing in some of our, what I call the middle facial boards. This one you will want to have directly in the middle. So if you're using like an 8 foot board, you're going to want this, the middle of the board right at the 4 foot mark. Which I do here. It takes me just a minute as I was figuring it out. I wanted to look good for the video. So make sure you get that perfectly in the middle. And what you'll do is what they call toenail or T screws in. Where you're screwing the side of the board up into the top at an angle. That's how you get that to stay. And also it never hurts to use some type of wood glue when you're putting things like this together, if you don't ever plan on taking it apart, that is. So definitely if you're going to use some type of wood glue, make sure it will fit through all your doors without a problem. So now we have one on the front and one on the back. That's going to give us a little bit more support, but these front ones we're also going to be adding 2 more. It's the same length. It's going to fit in between our top and our bottom board. And I am doing it about, I believe I did it about 20 inches here in this. I know it shows millimeters because it's the 3D design software, but about 20 inches. Once again, this is kind of going to depend on the size of your dog. You don't need huge doors, but just enough to where your dog can fit in nicely, as well as the height. You want your dog to be able to stand up. I've done these anywhere from 20 inches to 36 to 40 inches in height. So once again, that kind of depends on you. There's not really a whole lot of direct measurements that you can get in something like this. Once again, that's more of what my step-by-step guide is that we do sell for download on our Etsy. You can look us up, Weaver Family Farms, or check out our website, or you can contact me and I can give you a direct link to it or something once we get it up. But it'll go step-by-step guide on kind of the sizing recommendations and a little bit more text and detail, so you can kind of take your time instead of me rushing through this quick video. But if you're a quick learner, this will work too if you kind of want to follow along. I'm piecing this together. As you can see, now I have a top and a bottom. That's going to be more support, but that's also going to be how we're going to screw our 1x2s to make kind of the fencing or the wall around the outside. Now I know those look like they're floating there, but this is going to act as our door in this 3D example. You want your door, about 2 inches shorter than your actual hole, so it has plenty of opening room. Now you see here I'm going to get me a piece a little bit smaller. We're going to kind of make a small door frame. I do have a video up. I didn't really know what to call it. I think it's just how to make a small door, where I'm actually making these, and I use these cheap little metal L brackets, if you want to call them that. You can buy at your hardware store of how to put these doors together and make them really nice, sturdy, straight, and square. But that's basically the simple layout for our door. And then we will just duplicate the same thing and we will make our second door. Now, of course, if you want to make this, not divided like I'm doing in this example, sure, you would only need one door. You could put it in the center or on the side, whatever you want. But in this example, this is to be able to hold, 2 different dogs, and they will be separated. And of course, you'd put your hinges on either side. The doors would hinge, and then you would have your little bolt lock. Now I'm going to go through. This is kind of a lengthy part so far as doing it in the 3D design software. Rule of thumb I do when putting these is I see a lot of people try to somehow get them between your top and bottom board. Of course, it looks nice if you do it right, but this is how I do it. It's so much quicker, easier, and it's the same concept. Just take them, cut them a few inches longer than your overall kennel is in height. You can just put a little dab of glue on each end and get out some nails, because you don't want to use screws really on 1x2s. They crack too easy. Get out some nails, or get out your brad gun like we use, and you can just go through and pop these things on real quick and be done in about 30 minutes with all of these. So far as spacing and making sure they're all straight, get your first one on exactly how you want it, and then take another 1x2 and push it right up against the one you have up, and then take a third 1x2, and you'll actually do that. So basically you're going to have a sample 1x2 in between each one. You can squeeze them together, and that's how you're going to get your perfect spacing. So the space is the same size as the 1x2s you're putting up. I think that makes it really easy. It's a good block for about any size dog, unless you have a really tiny dog that can get through the 2-inch spot. But now I'm just going to go around and I'm going to do all the way around this dog kennel the same thing. This part's pretty simple. What it really comes down to is making sure your spacing is going to look good. Kind of hold them up there and kind of imagine what it'll all look like, so your spacing's good, and that they're all level. Because if you get your first one up and it's not straight, and you go through and try to do your spacing from all the rest, and then in a little bit after your glue's dry and you got all your brads in, and you look from a distance, you're like, oh my gosh, they're all crooked. And it's going to make the whole thing look like crap. So definitely from the get-go, you want to make sure they're all straight. Not a whole lot for me to be saying here. I'm just going through now, and I'm going to put some of these in the middle, which is actually going to act as our divider. Once again, if you don't want this divided, you would only need one door, and you wouldn't really need to do this middle part. I still do recommend putting that 2x4 on the top and bottom, as you can see there. It'll kind of support it later on. Sorry I made this video a little long. I didn't really want to cut anything out, and didn't want to miss anything important. I am going to stop talking for a few minutes here or so. It's about a 20-minute long total video. I'm going to stop talking for a few minutes, and I will come back when I feel there's more I need to say. So now here I am going to be putting the one, or you can do two if you like. These will go on to the back of our door frames that we built, exactly how we're hooking them into our actual, the whole crate itself. So just get them cut a little bit shorter so they're not, obviously hitting anything. And let me try to get this slid back there. Once you get so many pieces going that some of this software gets a little bit harder to kind of, visualize what's going on. As you can see, I had it all the way back there. But we're going to slide this on up to our door here. Just like that. And of course it's too short. So make sure you have it cut right in real life, because you can't just make it longer like I can in the computer world here. And we'll have another one. Like I said, you can add two if you want them, if you like that look behind the doors. In this example, I'm just doing one. So now we will be getting into putting the top on, which I consider the most simplistic part of the entire project. We do want these to hang over because I think it gives it a good look. Now you could go through with a router, and you could try to make them even fancier. As a rule of thumb, so far as the lengthwise of this whole thing, I like 2 inches of overhang on each side. So make this 4 inches longer than you're going to build your entire kennel. And then I also slide them, if we're looking at it widthways, like towards me and then towards the screen, basically. I like them to overhang, just about an inch or so. And once you get all of these cut, because they're all going to be the same length, just set them all up there before you start screwing them in or anything, and slide them all together. And you can kind of see about where you're going to have them all go. Okay, so now you can see the first overhang I was talking about. You can see right there on the right and left, and then I pull this a little bit closer to me right there, so it overhangs just a little bit. I think it kind of gives it a cool look that way. Just my opinion. You can do it how you want. And then basically you'll go through, like I said, don't screw the first one on when you think you got it how you want it. You want to go through and have them all cut, set them all up there. And then once you do that and you have them perfect and they're going to fit exactly how you want, then you can start screwing them in. And you can see, since we added that middle 2x4 down under there, the kind of the divider, that gives us a spot to screw these 2x4s to, as well as on each end. So each 2x4 should, on top, should get about 6 screws. 2 on the left, 2 in the middle, and then 2 on the end. And make sure to sink them in good. And later you can use some type of wood filler and fill in those screws to give it a nice flat top, you know, sand it down, and then stain or paint whatever you're planning on doing. And ignore this here, it makes it look like it's one solid piece. I was trying to make some quick work and I shouldn't have done that. So I ended up reversing out of this part. Just a minute, there we go. Just needed to move them all. And this example, even though this is on the computer, is exactly why you don't screw down your first one, because I thought I had my first spacing right on the first one and it wasn't. So now I'm needing to go through and move all of them. So make sure you get them all setting up there before you start screwing anything in, and make sure it's going to work out right. Got just a little bit of space back there on the back, and we will add one more. Just like that. And it is pretty much complete. And here in a second I'm going to show you something that I recently started doing, which I think makes the face and the sides of this look a little bit better, a little bit neater. It's not necessary at all. I mean, really, it's more screws and more wood. It'll cost you, I don't know, about $2 more in wood and screws total to make it. And I think it looks nicer, and if anything, it's just going to make it stronger. Just kind of going around it now, making sure everything looks good, showing you all the sides. Hopefully y'all like this. If you like this video, don't forget, please thumbs up, comment if you have any questions or suggestions. I'm going to be doing hopefully quite a bit more of this kind of thing. There you go, you see what I'm talking about. I'm actually piecing in boards in the front, and I'll do it on the sides, and I think it makes it look so much better, especially once you paint it. That way there's just not like a gap there. See how it fills in the front? I think it looks so much better. Again, your opinion. Don't forget to check out our website, weaverfamilyfarms.com. I'll have a link to our website in the description. We do raise dogs, and we do all types of, you know, custom furniture like this. And we also have an Etsy store that's doing pretty well, thanks to all the support we've got through that. We do laser engraved signs and laser engraved gloves, and about anything you can imagine that's wooden or leather, we laser engrave it. Belts, wallets, men's wallets. We've done all types of cool things. And now we are getting into selling some of our 3D plans like this, anywhere from, you know, $4.99 to $9.99. So pretty affordable overall. You get to see everything, you know, in 3D, kind of how we're seeing it. And it really helps support us to keep, I mean, realistically, these take a lot of time and thought to put together. And you'll see a lot of videos out there of people, you know, putting stuff together that, you know, that's never touched a drill or a hammer or anything in their life, never even seen a real piece of wood. And it's kind of ridiculous. Yeah, their plans might look good, but, you know, the stuff that I make and put together here in 3D, in the 3D software that I actually, you know, put together myself, are things that I've actually built in real life. So I know it's going to work, and I know it's a nice solid build. You can check out our other videos where I actually am building this stuff in real life. But that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Once again, please thumbs up and subscribe if you like this. Have a good 2019. See you later. Bye-bye.